Hi, welcome back to part 9 of this 12-part YouTube series on how to land that high-paying job. My name is Jennifer Butterfield, your host, and this is the Trial by Jennifer YouTube channel. And I feel really excited today because we're going to be talking about how to select high-quality roles with fantastic companies. And if you've been with me in this journey on how to land that high-paying job, we've talked about all different kinds of topics thus far, such as crafting an outstanding resume, using AI to write a cover letter, mastering interview skills, and the importance of learning how to negotiate effectively for a higher salary. And so there will be references to those videos throughout the course of this part of the series, but I highly encourage anybody who's just tuning in to be sure to check out some of those videos before or after this part. And so yeah, let's get right into it. I think, it's really important to consider with as an individual, as a professional in the corporate world, the average human spends 90,000 hours of their life at work. And so why is this important? Because the company that we work for is going to be that much more crucial in making sure that it's a right fit, and not just the company, but also selecting a really high quality role that not only is going to allow for room for advancement, growth and education and training, and also mentorship and peer leadership opportunities. So I think it's really important to consider why choosing a great company and an ideal role for me as a candidate is so important. We spend more time at work often than we do with our family or our significant other or in school. And so, choosing a healthy and challenging but fun work environment is really important. And so I think number one, this starts with researching the company, and this has been a huge theme amongst all of the videos, but researching the company, going on their website, maybe connecting with different people via LinkedIn through sending them a message and just saying, hi, I see that you work at XYZ company and I am considering applying for a role there. Would you mind telling me a little bit about your experience, or do you have 5 minutes to hop on a phone call at some point this week to chat about what it's been like working there? There's nothing wrong with doing that. And I also highly encourage resources like LinkedIn and Glassdoor, where employees are able to go on these websites and share about their experience. A lot of times it's anonymously, but you will be able to see what kind of a role they held, how long they were there, what their experience and education levels were. And so this is a great way to gather firsthand research on what it's like to work at this company. And so I think it's important to think about, okay, well, geographically speaking, there are going to be different elements to work culture. So, and we talked a little bit about this in mastering interview skills. When we talked about the cultural custom of shaking a person's hand when you walk into an in-person interview. Well, there are also elements to consider, like when we look at Hofstede's cultural dimensions. So Hofstede was a researcher who studied all these different cultural dimensions, and I remember learning about these in school, but one of them that really stood out was power distance. And so what is power distance? It essentially is, what is the level of formality between, like in a professional setting, a supervisor and an employee, right? So in a different country, like say China or maybe Japan, these countries are going to definitely have a much greater power distance. So it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for me to reach out and extend my hand as a handshake, or even in some countries looking the supervisor or employer in the eye would be inappropriate. Here in the United States, which is where I'm filming this, it would be much more appropriate to make eye contact with an employer. The power distance is much lower. In this same vein, there are also cultural dimensions such as masculine and feminine. And so I think it's really important to consider some of these dimensions, like, is this company really time oriented? Is it people oriented? What is the balance of demographics? Like, is there diversity at this company? I think diversity is a telltale sign of health and balance and like overall growth and sustainability. If I'm walking into a company and it is predominantly all one presumed gender and race, that's going to raise a red flag for me, because I want a space where a lot of different people, a lot of different individuals are able to come together and contribute ideas. And so diversity is absolutely one of those main forefront considerations for work culture. And this is going to be different for everybody. So I think it's important to consider, what is it that I value, and what is it that I want in a company? Do I want a hybrid work situation? Do I want to be able to work from home and work in the office as I please? So is there a high level of autonomy in the leadership structure, or am I being expected to go into the office from 9 to 5 every day and perform my work there? Is that going to work for me? Do I have children? Do I have a long commute? So all of these are elements to consider. One is going to be relocation as well. So does this company offer a relocation package? If I'm not stationed in the city that it is headquartered in, or where the role actually is, and they expect me to come into the office twice a week, am I able to get there quickly, or would I have to move? And if so, what is the cost of living there? Is the salary that's being suggested, or the pay grade that's being offered in the job description, is that going to cover my basic expenses? And so I really like to cue in a website, smartasset.com. And so on smartasset.com, one of the things that I think is the most important element of accepting a job offer, before accepting that offer, going and calculating, okay, what is my after-tax income going to look like before I accept this role, and is that going to cover all of my bills? So those are really important elements to consider. But let's talk a little bit about more of the work culture in companies. So, I know that there are a lot of different companies like Google and some of these higher end tech companies that have a gym and amenities that are in-house in the building, and they have a lot of flexibility about people coming and going as they please. They respect their employees' autonomy to make decisions for themselves around when the best time for them to work is going to be, and about the quality and input that they're able to provide. And so I think, there are a lot of companies who don't necessarily value that. They want their employees to clock in from 9 to 5 every day. And so circling back around to company culture, sometimes in larger companies, they will offer spa services throughout the day. They will offer opportunities to go get massages, or free lunches once a week that are catered. Sometimes they'll have professional chefs come in. So all of these options are available, and I think it's important to ask about those things as going through the interview process. And so one thing I always really like to follow through on when applying for roles is looking into positions that have the pay salary range on the job posting. And so it's saying, like, here's a very clear-cut idea of what the lowest element of the range is and the highest. And so it's very transparent in that sense. And I think that says a lot about a company. Not only are they confident in their ability to pay within that range, but they also know that their company is going to be solid enough to attract someone based on not just that monetary compensation, but the holistic approach to attracting the right candidate. So there are elements to consider, such as health benefits and retirement packages and like 401ks, long-term disability, maybe short-term disability, and life insurance. So all of these are really important parts to consider when it comes to what compensation for the whole package looks like. And these are definitely a part of the negotiation process, which we talked a little bit about in mastering negotiation skills. But the importance of discussing not just the amount of money that I'm going to be getting paid, but also the other elements that are a part of the package. Am I getting free access to a gym? You know, am I going to be fed lunch twice a week? And trainings that will help me advance in my career. You know, do I have opportunity for growth in this role? So these are all questions to ask myself in researching the company and determining whether or not this company is going to be a great fit for me. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode of How to Land That High-Paying Job. My name is Jennifer Butterfield, and next week we are going to be talking about knowing your worth. And so I hope that you'll join me for that episode, because it's such an important topic, and I think there's so many elements to cover around those self-limiting beliefs. And so join me next week for that. And if you have yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do so by hitting the subscribe button below. And I will see you all next week.